My 29F boyfriend, 32M, throws a past situation in my face to justify cheating on me. My 29F boyfriend, 32M, and I have been together for 4 years. We have had issues with him cheating, and it's recently gotten worse, but he never takes accountability or admits to his wrongdoing because of a situation that happened before we were together. Before we got together, I hooked up with a girl that I was friends with at the time and didn't tell him. He went through my phone and found out and was livid and said I was a liar because he inferred, based on our texts, that I hooked up with her boyfriend at the time as well, as a threesome. I didn't. He has always been convinced that I did and will literally throw it in my face whenever I call him out on anything. Recently, I found out that he invited a girl to our apartment when I was out of town, took my car to see another girl while his was getting fixed, and it was on the same day he took me to get my birthday present. He drove 2 hours away to meet up with a girl he's been talking to for over a year, lied to me about working an extra overnight shift at work, and went to some girl's house and spent the night. This was all within the last month. When I confronted him about it, I was crying and saying how I didn't deserve that and that it's so embarrassing that he is doing these things being in a serious relationship with me. He literally responded with, "You've embarrassed me plenty." I asked what he meant by that, and he went back to the threesome he's convinced I had 5 years ago. This happens every time. He will always throw that situation in my face whenever he gets caught doing anything wrong. I can't take it, and I'm thinking this will forever be what he does to not take accountability for hurting me and justifying it because of what I did. I will admit, when he first brought it up, he convinced me that I was disgusting and that something was wrong with me for doing what I did, and I was so ashamed for so long that I allowed him to do things because I shouldn't have done what I did, so I couldn't get mad at him for talking to or sleeping with other girls occasionally. He convinced me that he still loved me and that they were just physical and it meant nothing, and I believed it. I can't take it anymore, though. I think that he will forever justify his actions with throwing that situation in my face, and I'm not allowing him to make me feel like that anymore. I just want him to realize that the reason this is over is because of his actions during our relationship and not because of something I did before we got together. I just want him to understand where I'm coming from, but it's hard to do that when he will just revert back to that. Is there any way I could explain how he's being unreasonable? Or is that an impossible feat? TLDR. My boyfriend justifies cheating on me because of a hookup that I had before we were together. Resentment towards my 29F best friend, 32F, of 10 plus years. I'm struggling with feelings of resentment towards my 29F best friend, 32F, and former roommate. For context, I started dating her brother in 2020, which I knew had the potential to cause some weirdness. But the relationship was never something casual, and we've been involved since. We were together 4 years and separated for some time, but have come back together recently. When she and I lived together with our other friend, I moved out last year for financial reasons, and he would come over. I received a lot of pushback and judgment that he was taking up space, which I heard and agreed to cut back on, even though most of the time, we would hang out in my room and leave everyone alone. She would often have guests over that caused a lot more commotion and distraction in much worse ways. But she never acknowledged that. Then she would guilt us into hanging out because she was single at the time and was bored and wanted distraction. Still, I abided. Over time, and because of these frequent complaints and displays of judgment, I would spend time at his place instead. I was then called controlling and codependent and was judged for other relationship things, i.e., sharing locations, which was a mutual decision and never taken advantage of, spending time with him outside of the house. Throughout the duration of our relationship, on top of that, our other roommate would side with her a lot, simply because, in my relationship, I was dating her brother, so she felt she had some sort of say or right to judge. Now she is in a relationship and constantly tells me about how great and wonderful this new guy is that she's been with for roughly 6 months, where I never felt like I could be happy and share in my happiness with her brother. She is also doing things that I did, such as sharing location, having him over at the apartment all the time, frequent sleepovers, etc. She generally lacks a lot of self-awareness and has been called selfish by multiple people in her life, and I don't want to feel resentful because the advice I get is that she'll never learn and will continue to be selfish, so keep my expectations low. However, the only time I get texts since I no longer live there is to hear about what's going on in her life, and the focus usually comes back to him. I tend to ask how she's doing and how things are, and I never get the same treatment back. It's always about what's going on in her life. During my time of separation from her brother, she also told me that he was hooking up with other girls, which turned out to be untrue, and I'm still unsure why she did that. I also heard back one day that she complained I was going on too much about a situation that upset me, and I trusted to vent to her about. I am happy that she's in a relationship where she feels content because she's spent a lot of time with duds, but I can't shake this feeling of resentment. There are a lot more details I've left out because we lived together for 3 years and a lot happened in that time where I was supportive and always there, but never felt the same energy back. How do I let go of these feelings of resentment? And does anyone have advice on how to best handle this situation? I'm unsure if it's worth salvaging at this point, but any help is appreciated. TLDR, best friend is displaying hypocritical behavior now that she's happy in a relationship, but could never be happy for me. Friend mad I went to other friend's baby shower? We're all females in our 30s. TLDR friend mad. I went to other friend's baby shower, need help on how to respond to her via text. Coming here for advice because I'm really at a loss for how to handle this without ruining the friendship. Haven't talked to the friend in a day because I don't know how to express myself without being totally rude and angry. She communicated her feelings to me via text, so I'm thinking of responding with a text, but no idea what to say. So here's the deal. I attended a friend's baby shower, we'll call her Sarah, and my other friend, we'll call her Julia, seems to be mad at me about it. We're all in our 30s. I was invited to the shower and Julia wasn't, but she said she didn't care that she wasn't invited because she didn't want to go anyways. I was there for Sarah when she went through a tough time a few years ago, and we've stayed in touch, so I assume that's why I got an invite. I had a really nice time seeing people I hadn't seen in a while, people that are mutual friends or acquaintances with Julia. I've been dealing with health issues for over a year, and it's honestly been horrible. So anytime I can get out to socialize and enjoy myself, it's a good thing for me. Julia texted me bringing up someone at the shower and negatively commenting on their appearance. I assume she saw a photo someone posted. I told Julia that it was nice to see everyone at the shower, and that a couple of our mutual friends slash acquaintances had said how much they missed Julia. That's all I said, and rather than being gracious and glad that I had a nice time, she responded by saying repeatedly that all those people are fake. I changed the subject and really didn't think much of it. Until the next day, when she sent me a text apologizing for being rude and saying she was just mad because all those people are fake and she's known Sarah longer but wasn't invited, but made sure to emphasize she does not care that she was invited, and came up with a bunch of other excuses for being mad, she was tired, etc. I was confused because I didn't realize there was an issue or that this was a huge deal, and I texted back saying, "Oh, I didn't think you were being rude at all." I've been thinking about it though, and the whole thing just really rubbed me the wrong way. I had a nice time at a baby shower, and somehow it became all about her and her feelings, when it's quite literally an event that had absolutely nothing to do with her and was about celebrating Sarah. I think she's actually just angry she wasn't invited but doesn't want to admit it, and somehow I'm guilty by association for attending. For more context, Julia seems to have an issue anytime I hang out with other friends, to the point where I do not mention it when I have plans with other friends, and almost never post on social media about it. Anytime I have plans with other friends, it somehow becomes about how I hurt her feelings. Meanwhile, she posts everything, and anytime she's with another friend, she makes sure to post a selfie with them. Which is fine because I'm an adult and know that people are allowed to have other friends besides just me. But despite all this posting, she then will complain to me that she has no friends. I think it's because she's insecure and wants to make sure everyone knows how many friends she has. That's just not really my thing. I prefer to spend time with friends when I'm with them rather than worrying about posting pictures. I just don't know why she has an issue anytime I hang out with other friends, when she has other friends as well. It also feels weird that I have to hide my plans with other friends because I don't want her to get mad at me. It just really left a bad taste in my mouth that she somehow made me attending a baby shower about her and her feelings. I don't even know why she would need to make me aware of those feelings. I'm not the one who didn't invite her. I think she's obviously just mad she wasn't invited, but I was. I think it's kind of immature and petty, and I feel like her going on about the people being fake is just something she could have kept to herself instead of going on about it when all I said was, I had a nice time. And now I'm mad, but don't want to just fire off an angry text without thinking. What do I say in the text to get my point across and stand up for myself without completely ruining the friendship?